Ever wondered how it really advanced AI actually works? What's going on under the hood? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on an AI coach designed for truck drivers. We're going to follow the entire process, right from the raw data all the way to the final result. And who better to guide us on this journey than the AI itself? So let's meet Joff. We're going to see exactly how his digital mind works, step by step. So here's the deal. Jeff's main job is to give personalized coaching to truck drivers when their shift is over. But, and this is the cool part, he doesn't just shoot over a text or a boring report. No. He shows up as this super realistic talking avatar, giving feedback that feels, well, surprisingly human. And how they pull that off is just fascinating. All right, so everything starts out on the road. Before any of the AI magic can even begin, Jeff needs data, his raw material, and that means grabbing a ton of information straight from the truck itself. At the very heart of this whole operation is this little gadget. It's called the Geotab Go device, and it plugs right into the truck's diagnostic port. The easiest way to think about it, it's like a Fitbit for the truck, just constantly tracking all of its vital signs and every move it makes. And believe me, it records a huge amount of stuff. We're talking precise GPS coordinates, speed, exactly how hard the driver is hitting the gas or the brakes, and even really deep data from the engine. But what's absolutely crucial here is that it logs what they call exception events. Things like speeding or taking a corner too hard. Each one of those gets a timestamp and a location. This data is the raw clay that Jeff is going to use to build his coaching. So on a set schedule, Joff's system automatically reaches out and pulls all of that data, the exceptions, the GPS logs, the driver info from the Geotab system. But here's where it gets even smarter. It doesn't just stop there. It also pings another AI called ACE to get insights on that driver's past performance and patterns. So right from the get-go, it's already adding some really important context. Okay, so we've got the data. Now for the most important part of this whole thing, turning all that raw information into something actually useful, into real intelligence. This is where Jeff really starts to think. And this right here highlights a huge change in how we approach this stuff. Instead of just nagging a driver about every single time they went over the speed limit, Jeff looks at the entire shift as a whole. This lets him see the bigger picture. He sees the patterns, the context, things that a simple event-by-event system would totally miss. So how does he spot those patterns? Well, he uses a clever algorithm called GPS clustering. Basically, it groups together events that happen really close to each other. So let's say a driver speeds 4 times in the same short stretch of road. Jeff doesn't see 4 separate mistakes. He sees one single problem area. Maybe it's a badly placed sign or just a really tricky intersection. And that one distinction, is it a driver issue or is it a location issue? That completely changes the conversation. It shifts it from, hey, you made 4 mistakes, to something more like, hey, let's talk about what's going on at this specific intersection. It becomes about problem solving together, not just pointing fingers. So before the AI model even generates a single word, it gets this complete briefing packet. It's got everything: the specific events, the clustered locations where patterns are happening, the driver's history, and of course, the actual speed limits for context. It's totally prepped and ready to have a genuinely intelligent conversation. All right, so we've got the raw data and we've got the smart analysis. The next question is, how does all of that turn into a talking, perfectly lip-synced video of Jeff? Well, it happens in this really cool 3-step production line. First up, the AI model writes a completely custom script based on that briefing packet we just talked about. Second, that text gets sent over to Google's text-to-speech service, which creates a really natural-sounding voice. And finally, that audio file, along with a picture of Jeff, is sent to a service called Wave to Lip. And this is where the magic happens. It generates a video of Jeff speaking the words with perfectly synced up lips. It's incredible. And just to be clear, this is not lightweight stuff. This whole process is powered by some serious high-end tech. We're talking about Google's super advanced Neural 2 voices to make him sound real, and powerful NVIDIA GPUs to handle the heavy lifting of creating the video. That's the kind of horsepower it takes to bring Jeff to life this convincingly. But the process doesn't just stop once Jeff delivers his video. Honestly, the most powerful part is what happens next. The entire system is built to create a real conversation and close the loop. Yeah, that's right. After watching the video, the driver can actually talk back. They can reply using their voice or just by typing a message. That response gets fed right back into the very same AI model, which allows for a real back and forth. The driver can ask for clarification, give their side of the story. They can actually engage. But what if a driver says something that's, a bit concerning? The system has a super important safety net built right in. Every single response from a driver gets passed through what's called an escalation filter, which is basically looking for serious red flags. And this filter is trained to spot the kinds of things a simple chatbot would completely miss, like signs of impairment, mentions of road rage, someone admitting they broke a rule on purpose, or even just a direct cry for help. If any of those flags pop up, the whole conversation gets immediately sent to a human supervisor to step in. So there you have it. That's the entire end-to-end journey. It all starts with that raw data coming off the truck, which then moves into some really intelligent analysis and pattern finding, then gets turned into a personalized video, and finally, it becomes a real two-way conversation with a human safety net watching over it all. And now for the part that is just truly wild. The total cost to run this whole complicated, personalized process for one driver? About 5 cents. The key takeaway here isn't just that it's cheap. It's that this level of one-on-one, sophisticated coaching can now be scaled up in a way that was just never, ever possible with only human coaches. Which really brings us to our final thought. Look, this isn't just about coaching truck drivers. When you can deploy a personalized conversational expert for just pennies, it makes you ask a much bigger question. What other huge complex problems in any industry suddenly become solvable? Now that's something we're thinking about.